from the Goblin Cave. It's been 3 months, I think, since I posted. My last video was right around Halloween, and then immediately after that, I have been in a cycle of illness, recovery, back and forth for this whole time. It has been the worst winter season I've ever had. I've never been this sick before. But yeah, that is definitely for another video. It has been a horrible time. So like my office is a mess. I do know that. And this is as good as it's gonna get today because I am still on the recovery. I was actually really sick yesterday, but I'm feeling a little better today. So I wanted to go ahead and get some recording done. And yeah, my room's a mess. This is my office slash guest room. So I have it's my writing space, but there's also like a TV and the little day bed back here for guests. But I nap back here a lot, actually. So welcome. If you are new here, my name is Shannon Lee. I'm a fantasy author and micro publisher. I started my publishing company in 2024. We have 2 books out already, and we have 4 more coming out this year. We kind of started like slow and have been building behind the scenes. I do like all of the promotional graphics and cover design and things like that for most of my projects, not all of them. And for 3 of the upcoming ones, I design the covers. Sometimes I commission elements from artists because I do not call myself an artist. I do not draw, I do not paint. I design, so I take elements that I can purchase or license and create covers and graphics with those. So that's what I wanted to show you today. I wanted to walk you through Canva and how I use it to make some covers, show you a couple of examples of what I've already made, and then I'm going to show you my upcoming novel's cover, and then I'm going to recreate that cover for you so that you can see the whole process. But I understand not being able to afford a cover artist. I also cannot afford a cover artist for most things. That's why I only commission elements that I incorporate myself, because like a full wrap can be quite expensive. Yes, some people do charge only, like $100, but it often is closer to $400, $500. For a very talented artist that has been doing this for quite a while, it can be in the thousands. And I'm not saying they're not worth it. They 100% are worth it, but we are all working at different budgets, especially when we're just starting out. If we don't have a bestseller that is, bringing in those royalties, then we are very limited in how much we can spend. Now, I do pay for a Canva Pro account. I know not everybody does. Some people don't have that in their budget as well, and that's fine. You can look for free elements to use these techniques I'm going to show you. Some are going to be restricted to Pro accounts only, and you have a lot of elements that are Pro only, and you have some editing features that are Pro only. However, bright side, if you find some elements that just really work well with your cover and you really want to have it, you can pay just for that. Like, you pay per download, and I'll try to find one that'll tell you like how much that particular download costs. I think it varies, but I have had covers that the actual price of licensing those pictures would have been like $6 total. And so there's different budgets that you can work with. All right, so I'm doing a screen record. Hopefully it's not too terrible. And now I'm gonna, so bear with me because like the screen record bar is like definitely in the way. And also, I should have said this at the beginning. I'm gonna put a timestamp in over all of my little preamble in case you don't want to hear it and you just want to get like directly into the tutorial. All right, so minimize. And then I have my stuff all ready. I wanted to show you these just because. So I'm here in, hold on, sorry, I am like, this little bar is everywhere. So this is one of my Canva documents. If I go into grid view, these are just examples of some covers that I've been playing with. Now, like I said, I'm not fantastic. These are some of the first ones that I played with to try to figure out the programming and what it can do, how I can layer it and things like that. So these are just for fun. They are not for clients. And I'm going to be real careful about what I get into on Canva because I do work with some design clients, and it's proprietary images that are not released, publicly on their platforms or anything yet. For upcoming books or upcoming things, I've worked with an indie game company and a small publisher, and they have things that haven't released yet, so I do not want those images to accidentally get out because spoilers. But yeah, I just wanted to show you quickly some of the options that I have come up with, and yeah, it's not, I don't know, for just playing around, I thought it was pretty fun. All right, so this is for Dead Dreams, is the novel that I'm currently almost done with, and it's coming out in July. It's actually going to go to the editor in April, so we are getting pretty close. And I just wanted to show you all the different iterations that I had come up with, because it's a learning process for me. I just started learning design more seriously about 2 years ago, and so there's been definitely an evolution of my style and my skills. And so, again, I am not an expert by any means, but this is what I have been able to figure out. And I've leaned a lot on YouTube tutorials from other creators. I'll try to link some of them below. And just kind of playing around, honestly. Ooh, what's this button do? That's how I work. You just hit buttons until something fun happens. All right, so when you're on Canva, you can open up you can customize your file. So this one, I have it right here where it is 12.538 inches by 9.25 inches. That is the guesstimation of how big the full wrap cover will need to be for this book. What I did is I went into Amazon's KDP cover calculator and put in how many pages it is and what kind of paper and the trim size, and then it gave me a template to build that cover on. So that's what I have done here. If it's the wrong size, you can come in here and resize it. I can do custom size if you don't see an option up here that's ready to go, and you will have the option. It's not going to show you right now, but if you choose custom size and you change it, it'll let you copy and resize, or it'll let you resize just this page, or you can resize the entire design. So the entire design would be all 6 of these pages, whereas I can choose to just resize page 1 here and nothing else. That is really handy, actually. So you can keep one whole project in one file, and have them be different sizes. So say you want your ebook cover and your full wrap and say a dust jacket, but then you also want your merch, your bookmarks and stickers and stuff. You say you want it all on one file. You can do that by resizing individual pages instead of the whole thing, the whole project. Okay. I wanted to, so briefly, yes, this is what I originally came up with. It wasn't right, so I played with it. I added some shading, some detail, some texture, and then I added some more background pictures, and I played with the typography. This one, is straight and across the top, and I didn't really like that, and then I kind of angled it a little more, and I added more shading to my name. Then I tried this one. There's so many iterations. This is the final one that I have come up with. Let me show you on the big screen here. This is my final version. I really am happy with it. I know it's not the best on the planet. It doesn't need to be the best on the planet. I like the way that it looks. I think it really embodies my book series well. I really envision it more as the Dead Dream series is really kind of pastel goth. So I thought this was a really good mark. All right, so let me move on. I ramble. I do ramble. That's gonna happen. I'm doing my best. But squirrel. So I'm gonna start with a blank page. This is just kind of the picture that it's on. When you add a blank page, The very bottom layer will be whatever the one before it was, and this one here has a gray layer. I don't know why. I can't remember why I made it gray, but you can just, hit this little color button here and change it to blank. Or you can change it to orange or purple or whatever is gonna match the style that you need. So when I do covers, I try to start out with a template to kind of get the sizing right. I'm gonna go to my projects here, and I have all of them, right? All of my elements that I used are here. I know that it's like, it doesn't look like it's a lot of elements, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 elements all together, and it made that. So but we'll get through it. All right, I had to cut a little bit out because I messed up. I had the wrong template on there, but I have the correct template saved now, and it is added. And then we just stretch it out. And why is it not working? You know what? I'm just gonna resize the darn thing. We're gonna resize this page. Custom. We want it to be, I am looking right here, 13.1 by 9.250. And we want to do just right here. We don't want to do all 7 pages. We just want to do the current page. Done. Resize. Thank you. And stretch. There we go. Now our template is correct. Don't you love just winging it and having everything go wrong? All right. Now I've got my template base. This way I can measure everything out. After that, I'm going to add these pieces, which were my colored background. I wanted to do a watercolor style. What did I do here? Okay, so it looks like I flipped it. I'm going to just flip it. And then I'm going to duplicate and flip it because we want them to match. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with the transparency. Make sure your purple line is on your image. I'm going to mess with the transparency. And then I'm going to make it right in the middle of the template. Just because. All right, now to get that smoother look, as you can see, if you can zoom in here, and you can see it has kind of like that, the kind of paper that you do watercolor on, has that kind of texture. And overall, that ended up not looking great. Ooh, this one I think actually was flipped that way. Do I like that? I don't like that. Flip it back. I like it that way. It's more, I don't know, seamless. So we're going to go to this edit button here. And I'm going to go down to blur, whole image. And we're going to smooth that texture out. Just kind of scroll it back and forth until it looks right to you. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. Oop. Blur. And boom. I like that. You don't have to like it. You can choose to do something different with yours. Maybe you want it to be more textured. Maybe your background didn't have any texture to begin with, and it's fine the way it is, and you don't need to mess with it. That's amazing. But that's what I'm working with here. Then I'm going to get this. This is just some shading that I wanted to use. Now, to make sure that I have it where I want it, I'm going to make these ones transparent again. And I'm going to put it right to the line. Do it on this side as well. And now I'm going to do it again, but first we have to trim this so there's no ending on it. Where's the so I just pulled it up just enough to where you don't have that bottom layer anymore. And match it down and flip. Then I'm just gonna do that again. Okay, so you see how they overlap? That is fine. We're gonna go down till that little purple bar comes up that says it's at the halfway point, so they don't overlap anymore. Do it again on this side. See that little purple line that pops up? And boom, there it is. And there, now they're not overlapping, but as you can tell up here, they are red, not purple. So we're going to go back to our edit. Well, you can do this a couple of ways. Here, I just am going to change the color, and it's going to be, this is kind of the palette that I've been using. You can choose whatever palette you want, and I'm just going to change all those. Now I also have these smoothed out a little bit, so I'm gonna go, because I don't like, again, it's like really looks like these little dots. I don't like that. Ooh, come on, computer. Like, okay. So we're going to blend it. What do I want it at? Is that good, or do I want it a little more? And you can just, so just you can see what 100 looks like. But I don't mind it having a little texture. I just didn't want it to have a lot. And we're going to do that to all of them. Ugh, I'm always clicking too many times. You can also just type directly into that little box instead of using the slider if it would be easier for you. Haha, didn't get me that time, did ya? Okay. And now let's get our pentagram on there. Okay, always make sure the picture you want to work on is the one that's in your immediate view, because if you scroll up and then click add something, it'll put it right on top, and I don't want to do that. We're gonna be over here. Can change it, adjust it however you want. I'm kind of eyeballing it a little. See, it wants to put it directly in the middle, but directly in the middle of this section here, or 1/3 or whatever it is not in the middle of where these guidelines are. So sometimes you have to eyeball it, or you can use this measuring bar up here. You can add guidelines yourself. I just haven't, and I don't really, I did it once, and I decided they were in the way, and I can't remember off the top of my head how to add them now. But you can add guidelines so that it's always spaced properly. All right, so there's that. And then I want another one for this side, but a little slightly lower, like that. And I know that I have them faded out a little, but I'm not sure how much I want to fade them out yet, because I want to make sure all the layers are together first. So we're going to do that. And however big you need it. And then just kind of, you can, when you're when you have your picture on here, you see this little double arrow thing here. That lets you rotate it around in case it looks better one way or the other way. I'm not sure which way it looks better. You can also just make it bigger. Okay. And then you can pull it this way if you want so that it's not in that middle. That is up to you. It's not required. A lot of times I let them hang over the side just so the full bleed is there. But, you know, you can do what you want. So there's that one. Yeah, see, this isn't going to be exactly the same because I do have it rotated differently, but that's okay. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, going with what feels right. And then that one. Now, I do try to make sure, like, I like symmetry, but again, design with your heart. You can even do it, like, at an angle. Doesn't even have to be, you know, straight. We'll do that. And yes, you can play with the transparency on that too. Okay. I like that. I'm going to leave it like that. You can hear my dog howling. It's dinner time for her. All right. Now here comes the fun part. I jokingly say because this was a pain in the butt to make and now I have to make it again. And I am not happy with that, but here we go. Adding the skull. Making it a little bigger. Make it as big as you need to, just so you can see it. We can change the size later. Now this, I did go ahead and played with some filters. So here's your filters. You go to edit, scroll down, here's filters, see all. I wanted it to have a more natural tone, like, I don't know, this is white bleached kind of tone. I wanted to have a more dug up from the grave kind of tone, so I had used mist. Again, you can change the intensity to where, like, it's not filtered at all, to adding, you know, darker, lighter, whatever. And they have some options, like there's that one. Look at that, isn't that fun? You know, there's a few options. It's not like you can change a lot, but you can change enough. Doing, you know, just have fun with it, right? Anyway, back up here. I just want the mist. If that's not quite enough adjustment for you, you can come here to where it says adjust. And here you go. You can play with the temperature. You can play with the tint. Play with brightness. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Contrast, wee, which you can really, yeah, get all those patterns. If you want everyone to see the patterns, no pattern, like, it's just fun. Highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, that's just kind of, you know, lightens or darkens the different color spectrums that are on there. You can also invert the color and play with the vibrancy. Just so many options. You can even change the base color here with color edit. But you have to do it manually, like it doesn't have the little balls of color that you can choose. You have to, or yeah, it's just you have to use a slider. And my hand isn't as steady as it should be. Anyway, that's just something, you know, extra that you can do. I don't use the auto adjust or any of that. I don't need to. It's an AI assistive tool. And I choose not to use them. But you can. They are available. Alright. Anyway, I've got the color that I think I want. Then let's see. Back to here. We have... Okay. This was a fun thing to do, and I totally mean that. What did I have? Oh, okay. Flip, then rotate. Sorry, my kid interrupted me. Anyway, back to what I was doing. All right. Again, you can play with the size to see, oh, maybe it needs to be more covered, less covered. Me trying to get this exactly the same is not working out, but that's okay. Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to be exactly the same. Where is that thing? Okay, that little leaf is on the dip. So we're going to make that bigger. Yeah, that's pretty close. And then I just change the color. So again, with the image selected, you can hit this little color button that's on your edit bar. And did I use blue or purple? Look at me, I used purple. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yeah, I used the purple. And duplicate it over to the, oh. There we go. Sometimes it glitches. That's okay. Alright, so with this one, you can see that it's behind on that one. So I'm going to get it positioned kind of where I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be a little smaller. Put it right like that. So there's a couple of ways that you need to get into your layering and adjust the layering in order to get this image behind the other one. There's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can do right click and then layer, and a little pop-up will come up, and then show layers. Or I like to just use the shortcut Alt 1. It's just faster. Anyway, so here's all of your layers that come up. And you can tell which one you're about ready to select that's on your image because the little purple box will pop up around it. Okay, so you can see. And I will just drag this down and pop! Now it's behind the skull. And pull it out just a little. Do we need to make it bigger? Oh, I think we need to angle it a little. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So there we are. There's the skull covered in flowers. Now for the moth. And flip. And right there, let me make it a little small. Here, you can also like make the whole project bigger just so you can see it better. My little rotate bar. I like the moth there. It's important in the storyline. Okay, so as you can see, when you're looking at this moth, the yellow on the wings is blending into the yellow tone of the skull, and visually it just kind of becomes one whole image, and it's difficult to see where the moth ends and where the skull begins. And while sometimes that is what we want in design, that is not what we want in this one. So we're gonna select the moth, edit, and I just want to do something with it to make it pop out a little more. I'm going to go to shadows and drop shadow. There's lots of different ones you can choose. I like the drop shadow. And then whatever color you want it to be. I think the black is going to be fine. How much blur, the angle, the distance, so like how far away the shadow looks from the object, and the intensity. So first I'm going to make sure that that angle, see how the picture is moving around, and you see, there we go, there's a little bit of a shadow right there. You can change the distance, and you can change the intensity. And like I said, I just go until I think it feels right. Alright, so now there is an actual line of shadow under the moth, so now it is, you can visually see that it is separate from the skull. Move it down a little. Okay. Now all of these are separate pieces, and they're just going to wiggle waggle all over every time you try to change something. It's going to be really hard. Like I'm having a hard time grabbing stuff underneath the skull and flowers, you know, so like, what is this? Oh, see, that was the smoke. I can't even get to the pentagram at all. If you accidentally move something and you didn't mean to, here's your undo, and that'll put it right back into the position. Now, how do you get to everything else? Of course, you can use the layering. I have another technique that I like to use as well, just to make sure I don't mess it all up when I have it the way that I want it. So open up your layering, and you're going to select one of the images that you want, and like you're grouping, okay? So we want this to be like one image. So select one, hold down the control button, and then select all the others in the image. And as you can tell, that brings this group, this little menu here up that says group. You can then group them. Now it is one flippin' thing. What? Okay. Ta-da! Really handy. This one had like some more smoke because I had 2 layers of smoke on this one just to make it look creepier. I had like some smoke between the flowers and the skull just to see, like, make it look like the mist or whatever was creeping around the bones. I did not do that on this one. Maybe I should. So, oh, we have to add another layer. What do? Just hit your ungroup. There you go. And then click off so that it unselects. Otherwise, it'll still try to move them all together. All right, so we're going to do my other smoke. And I made this smaller, and I just kind of put it where I wanted it. Where do I want it? I'm going to rotate it a little. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to grab it and pull it down so that it is between the skull and the flowers. And then I'm actually going to make it a little opaque because I don't want it to be a big noticeable thing. Just a little. And that's just the way that I like it. Again, you can do it however you like. Alright, now I'm going to group them all together again so that I don't mess it up. Alright, and as you'll notice, it pulls all the ones into one tile, and it has like a little square symbol there to show you that it is grouped together. Now, when they are all grouped together, you can, woohoo, do all this, but you can't change individual elements, shading or coloring or anything like that unless you ungroup and do it one by one. You can also use this lock so that you can't even move it from side to side. It is just stuck there, but I don't want to do that yet. Right now, I want to get it down to the right size, and that is going to be where you can still see the pentagram, but it is still I want it to be a prominent figure, but still being able to see the pentagram. Okay. Now let's play with the transparency on that. Well, actually, we're going to do, hold on, let's put full transparency back on the background first. And do I need to mess with it? Yeah. I'm just going to do it by hand because, like I said, my hand isn't steady enough to get it to cooperate. Okay. I think that looks kind of good. But as you can tell, it still doesn't look like that. That's okay. We're going to get there. Now, bring all the transparencies up on my background so it's one solid thing. And now I get to add these little paint splatters, because that's where the difference really is. So I just, excuse me, just put those splatters wherever. Sometimes that little rotate button moves around on you, so watch that. I didn't want it to look too uniform. I wanted it to look, you know, all splattery. It's all splattery. So I just put them all in different kind of rotations. And I really looked at, you know, how it was crossing the other image. Just kind of change it around again until it kind of looks the way you want it. And then I just use different colors. So again, here, what did I put on the bottom? Green and yellow. Some green. Some blue. Did it again with, oh, see, look what I did. I'm gonna lock that one there. That neon color. Where'd my little, there it is. I just wanted it to look like splatters. Alright, we need a purple one in there a couple of times, and then another yellow. Make that one yellow. And right across like that, we're going to do it in purple. Okay, and then we want it all, I want it actually to be behind all of that stuff. Not behind the borders and the background, but behind the smoke and the pentagram and all of that stuff. This one we can now unlock it. You have to click it twice just to make sure that that's what you want to do. Okay, so now that it's all behind, now we can pull some of them up. Let's see, it looks like maybe we should have it in front, behind the skull, but in front of all the other things, I think, maybe. See, you just keep playing with it. Keep playing with it till you got it right. Sometimes you are hitting all the right notes and you're done with a cover in a few minutes. Other times it's a little harder. So I know that it's not exactly the same as this. I fiddled with exactly how I wanted those color splatters, like a lot. And I moved them around a lot, just trying to get exactly the way that I wanted it. So, okay, see, I don't want that one. I want that. There we go. That's the one I wanted. I just wanted to make it smaller. Trying to spread it out a little bit more. Okay. Not perfect, but it is what it is. Alright, so now I want to cover up the spine so that it looks, you know, I want it to be differentiated. You don't have to, I like it. So go to Elements, and then I'm just going to pick Shape, Square. Where did you put my square? There we go. I don't know. Maybe I didn't click it hard enough. And all the way down. And line it up where that little gap is. And then change the color to something that kind of blends with the background. Now again, to make sure you have it right, make your pieces transparent. So you can line it up on those template dotted lines. Okay? And then you can move it right back up. So I want to mess with that a little bit. We're going to make that a little darker. I was trying to figure out why it wasn't exactly the same, and now I know. It's because of the colors. Okay. We're going to do this one because I want the colors to be closer match. So I used, if you need to know exactly what color it is, you can open the color thing and then hover and it'll say what color it is. So this was the magenta, and this one is the pastel red. So that's what we want to do here. We want to do magenta and pastel red. There we go, goodness. Magenta, pastel red. See, now I feel better. Now that's, and then now I can change this to the pastel red. Much better. I know the dots are still, like, not the same, but at least with my background is the same. That's close enough. Okay, so you have, like, the picture that you want, more or less. Looks like I need to move this one down a little more. Which means I gotta move that down a little more, and then this down a little more. Okay. Now it's time for the typography. Well, let me put those little things on first. If you want to keep the same that you've already done to it, like if you took time to shade it, filter it, alter the color a little bit, and you don't want to do it all over again, just hit ungroup. And then I'm going to do a double of that, and a double of that, and a double of that. Okay. Because I want them up here. Just like here. And if you're having trouble, like it's being jerky movements on, you know, like it just won't let you get in the exact right position, hit control and then grab with your mouse, and now it won't jerk you into like its own little measurements. But when you let go of the mouse first, then the control button. Because if you don't, here's what happens if you don't. So control and mouse, and then you like move, and then you let go of the control first, it jumped just a little so that it was in those little margins. So yeah, I don't want it to do that. So always let go of your mouse first. Oh, way smaller. Okay. And a little more. I don't care about your strictures. Like a little over the spine, but not a lot over the spine. There we go. And this one, I'm gonna flip it around and put it in the corner. Little smaller. So this one I also just added a shadow to it to, again, so that it wasn't blending so much with the background. So select, edit, shadows, drop. I'm going to get in closer so I can see it more. Alright, let's play with that angle. Oh yeah, there we go. See, we want it on the top. We don't want it on the bottom this time because that doesn't do good enough. We want it on the top. And I honestly think the intensity level is fine the way that it is. I don't think I need to mess with the intensity level, so I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. And now, yet again, you're going to be doing this back and forth, okay? You're going to be so annoyed. I'm taking that out so I can see my template spaces. Alright, now I need... What y'all do with my projects? Okay. I like putting my company logo on the things. So here's a problem. I like it to be circular like that, but this is square. How do I fix that? Here's how I fix that. 1. Background remover. Now it's clear. But now it's clear. How's that gonna work? Because you can't see it. Because like if you mess with the transparency here, you can't really see it that well. It blends in again with the different colors on the cover. So what I do for that, elements, shapes, circle. Come on. And now I'm gonna match this circle up. To be just slightly larger. How can you tell if it's slightly larger? Like that. Hold my control button so I can get it kind of centered on there. Okay, and now I'm going to change it to white. And then I'm going to group them together so that they don't go away. And I'm going to place it to where the edge does not touch this pink bar here. Alright, now, ta-da! Now you can see my logo. Alright, barcode. However you get your barcode is fine. It doesn't matter. This is just a fake barcode that I'm using as an example. Get it aligned as well as you want. I'm not going to align it perfectly. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. And your barcode should be on top. Okay. And my transparency again. Alright. This is where we're at. You can also use this little arrow big button here to take a look at it in all of its glory so you can see the picture all together at once and see what you like, what you don't like, what you want to adjust, and then you just hit exit to get out. There we go. Now it's typography time. Add your text. I just use heading all the time. It doesn't matter which, because you can just change it however you want. Alright, so how I did these shadow things. So first, let's write... First, let's write the word dreams and make it big enough to see. And it needs to be white. So here we go, text color button, white. Now here is where you change the font. I used Berkshire Swash on that. And there you go. So now here's your dreams. And bear with me, this is a multi-step process. Process 1, let's make sure it's big enough for what we want. Oh, maybe I did move that too far down. I don't know what. Oh, you know what? It's this that I moved. I'm gonna move that up. And da-da-da. So go to effects, and like I said, this is a multi-step process. So here's how I did it. Go to effects, outline, change the color, purple, change your thickness. And do an 80. But then I want this shadowing around it. But you can't do both at the same time, okay? You can't have like the shadow and the outline at the same time. It doesn't let you do it. So instead, I'm going to duplicate. Now with that duplicated one, I'm going to have no special effects and change it to purple, and then make it a little bigger. Make sure it's all on one line. And then I aligned it to where it was just a little behind. Just a little off center. Make it a little bigger if you need to. You can also mess with the spacing of the letters if it's just not going in your favor. and then move it behind. Adjust your length there. And adjust as needed until it is the shadow that you want. I know why it's not working. Because I did have an outline on it. I just changed it to be the same color so it had that chonky feel. There we go. Okay, when you have it aligned the way that you want, go ahead and group it so it doesn't move around. And now we're going to do the same thing with dead, with the word dead. So text, heading, I'll put it up there. Oh, I don't know why it won't let me. There. We're going to make it big enough for me to see. And then I have it with pink and white. So I'm going to do the pink on the inside. White outline. And what did I beast? I used beast. And I don't like that angle that it's at, of course, so I changed the angle. Like that. Turn it just a little more. And I think I want to make the outline a little more narrow. Okay. And then we're going to double it and change the colors. And then move and then try to align it the way that you want. Make it a couple of points bigger. Hold that control button in order to have control. And there we go. Now it's got that little purple shadow behind it. We're going to group it. And ta-da! Now your typography has a little bit of shadow behind it, and you can rotate it however you like. You can change the size. Oh, goodness. I don't want to do it all by hand. For the spine, I'm going to do I do a lot of duplications because it's just easier. Make sure your printing is on your lines. And then, of course, I did the same technique with my name here that I did with these where I made a duplicate and then changed the colors and all of that and lined it up so it made a little shadow. I don't think I need to go through all this text. You can... I'm just gonna steal this. So there's lots of different effects that you can use to try to make it work for you, depending on what kind of background you have. So you have the neon glow. Oop, I changed the wrong one. You can do neon glow, change the intensity. Those are actually fun. I actually like the neon a lot. You can do lift. You can do splice, which you can change the offset and the thickness and the direction. Same thing with shadow. Change the direction of where the shadow's coming from, how offset it is. But that just didn't work for what I wanted on mine. Like a regular shadow wasn't gonna work for me. So anyway, lots of options. And when you're done, we'll just pretend I did that. And we're gonna just move it down here. Again, they're not exactly the same, but they're pretty close. This one was really hard to get right for some reason. I don't know why, but let me zoom in so you can see. So I had, grouped those two together just so that they were spaced right. But when I ungroup, you can see it's the nether cycle by itself, and then the white and pink book one, and then the purple book one that is layered behind it. And so what I did with this one here, just so that it was, I wanted this moth to be prominent no matter what. So what I did, we're going to go to my grouping here, ungroup. I'm going to take this moth and just put it right on the top. And then group those buddies back together. Now the moth isn't grouped in, but everything else is. And that way the moth can be on top. Sometimes it drops them in weird places and I don't like it. So if you go see the big screen, you can kind of see that they're close. So here's the one that I just made. And here's the other one. And yeah, the shading, I think I did the filters and stuff on the skull a little differently. And of course the sizes and exact placement of the topography and the sprinkles, the paint sprinkles are a little different, but it's pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. Now when you're ready and the size is right and your pictures are right and you really like the way that it has ended up all around, before you download, what they suggest you do is delete the template layer. That way there's no risk of anything coming through on that template. When you upload, like it's not going to show any of the lines or typing that's on that template. And then you go to File, Download, and you can see here, like if I didn't have premium, I'd be paying $11 to download. When you are uploading to Amazon and Ingram Spark each have their own different templates and their own ways that they want to do things. So this is how you would do it for Amazon. Go to PDF for print. Make sure you're doing that PDF. It has to be a PDF for print. Then you want to flatten the PDF always. And then make sure it is on. So there's two different kinds. There's RGB for digital use. You would save it as RGB if for like your ebooks or any of your social media posts. But for print paperback for Amazon, you want the CMYK. Then you're gonna, like me, I don't want to do all pages. I just want to do that one page. Even if you have multiple pages, please do one page at a time. Otherwise, it'll download it as a zip file and they will all be together and it's a nightmare. Just do one at a time. All right, so you got your page 7, and then you say done, and then you do download, and it'll download. But I don't want to download it, but you could. All right, so there you go. That took like an hour, just like I thought it would. But there you go. That's how you make a picture, a cover in Canva without using photographs. I don't like photographs of people, so I prefer using just elements. And again, you can upload, there's this upload right here. If you bought elements from an artist, you can upload them right here. PNG, JPEG, PDF, it'll take all of those. Depending on what style of elements they are, I usually prefer PNG because then you can make the background is already transparent and it's just much easier for you to do stuff. But if having the background as the artist created it is important, then JPEG is probably going to be your better bet. And most of the time, Canva will let you do, filters and some color changes on whatever you upload. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope it made you feel more confident about being able to make some covers. This, I probably would have sat here and tweaked this for another hour or so just to make sure that it was exactly the way I wanted it. But this was just kind of a quick run through. This one I did spend hours tweaking the colors and the placement of the paint splatters just right to really make it the way that I wanted. And so that is the final version. This is the final version that I'm going to be using on my book. But I just wanted to show you how you could do it and all the options that Canva allows you to have. I know that wasn't the smoothest tutorial. I tried to show you everything and really talk you through everything that I was doing to get that way. I'm not an expert. I'm not a teacher, as you can probably tell. So like I'm all over the place. I'm not eloquent, but that's what I've got, and that is the method that has really worked for me. And I've enjoyed learning how to use Canva and all the different promotional graphics that I've been able to come up with and everything. And I keep learning and expanding my skills. And when, I don't know, I like being able to do the entire publishing process almost entirely by myself, to the point now where the only thing I really hire out for is an editor, and even then I don't even hire out for a developmental editor. I do copy edits, excuse me, I'm getting the different layers of editors mixed up. Line edits is what I end up hiring out for. I do the developmental edits myself. I've been writing for a very long time, so that's not very difficult for me. But like you're not going to catch all of your own grammar mistakes, and so I always have another editor go over it just to make sure that I didn't miss, don't have any very clunky worded areas or bad grammar or any of that. I hope you'll join me next time. I don't know when I'm going to post again. It has been very chaotic. Like I said, I haven't been feeling well lately. It's been and then I have like so many projects that are coming up on very tight deadlines, so I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do another video. I definitely cannot keep to a schedule to save my life. That ain't happening. So it's gonna be, chaotic posting. But yeah, I hope you'll join me next time. I do behind the scenes on my novels, on the craft fairs that I sell my books at. I've done author interviews and things like that, and I hope to keep going with those types of videos. And yeah, so I don't know. I think I've run out of things to say because I don't script these. I just start blathering and see where it ends up. I hope you learned something. Or if I wasn't able to teach you something, I hope I motivated you to go out and learn it on your own. You have a wonderful day and stay magical. Bye.